Welcome, beloved brothers and sisters, as we gather in spirit to explore the profound mysteries of our faith. Select one and put an end to everything. Your karmic mother will soon be obliterated after the spiritual realm launched the nuclear bomb of insights. Wearing the face of a family member, this vile, demonic parasite has been exposed in the most bizarre, disgusting plots you can't even fathom. Even their staunchest supporters are fleeing in fear of the proof. They believe that they might ruin a selected one and then laugh about it. They believe that the Most High wouldn't be aware. The wrong thing to do. They are going to learn what happens when you go to war with the wrong family, and the cosmic delete button is going to be crushed. Spiritual executioners currently have their coordinates. The wheels of divine vengeance are turning to their maximum speed. Your spiritual sensitivity was surgical, not merely robust. You were able to see through their facade as soon as you were able to focus your eyes. The darkness in their souls was palpable. Every knowing glance you gave them, every natural flinch from their touch, every moment you realized who they really were. It reminded them they were dealing with someone who had supernatural support, even before you had the words to express it. They were frightened because they realized what you are only now. You were not only spiritually endowed, but also spiritually threatening to their goals. Your skills weren't haphazard. They were intended to reveal individuals just like them. They were aware that you were born with an innate antenna for wickedness. All of your early years were devoted to researching your talents, recording them, and devising ways to ruin them. Each time you showed spiritual sight, they tucked it away as proof of your danger. They made notes on your prophetic dreams. They prepared countermeasures once you caught them lying. They would fabricate circumstances to portray you as unstable. They would act astonished when you reacted to their bad energy after pushing your buttons in public when your talents were engaged. They would expose you to ridicule for your heavenly connection by sharing your personal spiritual experiences with those who would make fun of you. Their favorite weapon against you was your innate empathy. When you attempted to protect yourself, they would play the victim after causing you severe pain. After betraying your trust, they would deceive you into thinking you were having trouble remembering things. They researched your triggers, committed your weaknesses to memory, and used your affectionate nature as a weapon against you. Something terrifying is revealed by the well-thought-out accuracy of their attacks. They were more knowledgeable about your power than you were. They could sense your potential to reveal their actual nature, and they wanted to stop you before you reached full spiritual development because they understood the threat your awakening brought to their sinister purpose. If you feel the divine love, now is the time to share. Click the Super Thank You button on YouTube to contribute $50 or more and help us spread God's blessings. What you do is being watched and serves as a seed, and in the future it will come back to you a millionfold. What follows will clarify why they were so anxious to silence you and why that desperation ultimately led to their total devastation. They had private victory parties every time you suffered, not just silent satisfaction, real celebrations. They would send messages, call friends, and even record your breakdowns like awards. They made picture albums of your darkest hours. Every time they were able to manipulate you, they documented it in their diaries. They threw parties when their meddling caused relationships to fail. They celebrated as though they had won the lottery when their sabotage caused opportunities to vanish. They handled it like Christmas morning when you experienced mental health issues as a result of their gaslighting. The most repulsive aspect. Frequently, they were planning the very catastrophes they were commemorating. They would incite others to oppose you, then rejoice when those connections fell apart. They would instigate financial crises and then celebrate your hardships. When others believed the lies they circulated about your mental health, they would throw a celebration, and what follows will demonstrate to you the extent of their depravity. Throughout numerous lifetimes, incarnations, and attempts to thwart your holy destiny, the spiritual realm has been assembling evidence against them. They have been pursuing your soul over time, acting like your mother and employing the same strategies to keep you from fulfilling your spiritual mission. They were successful in previous lifetimes. By convincing authorities that you were possessed, they had you slain. They said you were nuts and got you institutionalized. They incited dread about your gifts and had you burned as a witch. They enlisted allies to turn against you at pivotal points in your spiritual growth, friends to desert you, and lovers to betray you. Over generations, the pattern has remained constant. They persuaded religious officials in the Middle Ages that you were hanging out with demons. They presented proof of your paranormal activity during the witch trials. In later iterations, they ruled you mentally unfit by using medical facilities. Throughout your many lives, they have taken on a variety of roles, including those of a mother, spouse, close friend, or religious figure. The fundamental goal stayed the same: put an end to your spiritual awakening at any costs. The role and strategies varied as the times did. They rejoiced every lifetime, believing they had halted your advancement forever. They were unaware that your divine mission endures beyond death and that you will always return stronger, more resilient, and more determined. An unbreakable case against them has been established by the cosmic documentation of their recurring intervention over lifetimes. This is about centuries of spiritual warfare they have conducted against your soul, not simply about what they did to you in this life. Throughout their many incarnations, they have left a path of spiritual devastation. They have poisoned towns with their deceit and manipulation, ruined families in their attempt to stop you, and corrupted other souls to work against you. The spiritual world has been observing, recording, and constructing a case that extends beyond years or decades to lifetimes. This lifetime was meant to be their last triumph. Rather, it has turned into their final defeat. Here are the reasons why this incarnation is unique and why their plan simply failed miserably. You have had such advanced, multi-layered, and potent spiritual protection from the moment you were born that every attack they made was used as fodder against them. They were unable to comprehend why their typical strategies weren't working, even though they could see that some of their methods were failing. You were kept alive by physical protection. There were near-fatal situations when they staged accidents, but you managed to escape unscathed. You recovered from trauma more quickly than they anticipated thanks to emotional shielding. Your reality wasn't totally upended by their gaslighting because of mental protection. Their curses turned out to be disguised blessings thanks to spiritual protection. The defense works on several frequencies at once: guardian angels circling your energy field in shifts, ancestral spirits from your lineage defending against their attacks, and heavenly messengers absorbing their bad energy and returning it to them intensified. Every attack has been documented by your protection team. Every curse they spoke during your lifetime was documented. Every plan they came up with was watched. Every celebration they held over your suffering was observed and documented. They never understood that they were fighting the entire divine hierarchy, not just you. Every assault on you was an assault on the basic order of God. Every plot against you was an act of disobedience to cosmic law. Every celebration of your suffering was an insult to the justice of God. The guards surrounding you have been collecting intelligence in addition to being defensive. In addition to their acts against you in this incarnation, your guardian angels have been compiling a thorough case file that covers all of the other lifetimes in which they obstructed your purpose. They sent people to hurt you, but those people either changed their minds at the last minute or exposed their sender instead. Bigger and better possibilities would inexplicably arise as they attempted to keep you from them. New relationships would appear as if by magic when they tried to isolate you. The surrounding protective grid has been so successful that almost all of them have failed. Every significant plan they started not only didn't go as planned, but it also backfired and produced more evidence against them. Not only has the safety surrounding you kept you safe, but it has also prepared them for the ultimate spiritual prosecution. In the spiritual world, where there are no snags, dishonest judges, or ways out, that proof is now going to be used to administer justice. The following step is the instant when everything is irrevocably altered. Their meticulously crafted reality is currently disintegrating in real time as you read this. They are conversing behind their back with the folks they trust the most. Notes concerning their actions are being compared by the allies they relied on. The people who enabled them to attack you are now aware that they were duped in the same way that you were. Brother and sister, everything done in faith is returned in God's abundance. You can donate $100 using the Super Thank You button and be part of this divine call. If your roots are connected to Him, your fruit will be blessed. This avalanche was caused by a specific event. A long-kept secret was recently divulged by someone they fully trusted. This individual could no longer remain silent after witnessing something so egregious and unquestionably wicked about the way they treated you. The floodgates were opened by this disclosure. Others began to come forward with their own witnessing stories. Those who turned against you are realizing they were misled. Pals who condoned the abuse are feeling guilty, and family members who remained silent are finding their voice. The evidence being presented goes beyond simple emotional manipulation. It is documented evidence of deliberate psychological warfare, including text messages in which the perpetrator boasted about destroying you, conversations that were captured on tape in which they plotted your demise, and journals in which they described their methods of manipulation. Someone in their inner circle, someone who observed the celebration customs, or someone who felt compelled to take part in plots against you was the one who broke the silence, and it wasn't who they expected. This individual was so greatly troubled by what they saw that they meticulously documented it. Others felt comfortable coming forward after this individual spoke up. Stories that had been kept under wraps for years began to be shared. When the dam broke, a torrent of evidence emerged that all pointed to the same conclusion. This individual was a cunning predator who had been methodically destroying you for their own perverse enjoyment. They can feel the spiritual pressure mounting around them like a vice, and it makes their panic obvious. They are attempting to control a story that has already gotten out of hand by making desperate phone calls and sending frantic messages. By trying to persuade others that their accusers are deceiving or misinformed, they are undertaking damage control conversations. To stop the bleeding of their support system, they are threatening others, offering bribes, and enlisting the help of old acquaintances. As the spiritual realm closes in, the following is what is happening to them physically. The evil they have carried for so long is beginning to manifest in ways that are getting harder to conceal. The change is startling to those who haven't seen them recently. The true them is showing through, and the mask they've worn for decades has grown too thick to bear. Their eyes appear tougher, less human, and more calculating. They are now surrounded by a darkness that naturally unnerves people. Anyone with healthy survival instincts would be alarmed by the predatory feeling of their gaze. Anyone sensitive to spirituality finds their presence oppressive. After spending time with them, others report feeling exhausted because the atmosphere around them has become tense, disorganized, and unsettling. They are now instinctively avoided by animals. Youngsters who were formerly at ease with them become nervous when they are near them. They appear to be aging quickly, as though the spiritual corruption is hastening their physical decline. Medical practitioners are perplexed by the ways in which health problems are growing and getting worse, symptoms that don't follow typical patterns, diseases that don't improve with traditional treatment. Their voice has changed. It now has a sharp edge that makes conversing awkward. They make a strained, hollow laugh. Their expressions appear more performative, contrived, and less natural. They now carry themselves more fiercely and territorially, and even their bodily movements have changed. People have noticed that they stand too near, touch without permission, and invade personal space in ways that seem menacing, and their body language has become frightening and unwelcoming. They have been suffering from internalized stress as a result of upholding their lies while resisting divine will. They are suffering from bodily signs of spiritual battle, such as unexpected anxiety attacks, sleep difficulties that leave them fatigued, and headaches that don't go away. In the meantime, you are radiating tranquility and brightness that everyone can see as you embrace your actual spiritual identity. People around you sense that your energy is healing and serene. Rather than causing discomfort, your presence brings comfort. People are drawn to you and repulsed by them because of the extreme contrast. This physical expression is only the first step. Their total social dismantling is what's next. Their appeals are now being answered slowly by those who used to rush to their defense. Friends who once condoned their actions are now using excuses to stay away from them. Family members who took part in their anti-you campaign are discreetly pulling away. This is occurring like a landslip rather than gradually. They can't keep track of who is still with them since people are leaving their lives so fast. Invitations to social events are dwindling. Relationships at work are breaking out. In real time, their support structure is dissolving. Some people are being straightforward about their decision to leave, explaining in awkward conversations that they can no longer stand behind someone who acts in such a manner. Others are simply gradually disappearing without warning, growing less accessible, less receptive, and less eager to participate. The people stepping up are revealing heartbreaking facts about what they saw but kept quiet about for years. They're admitting that they never trusted the tales they were told about you. They acknowledge that they were uneasy about taking part in the efforts against you, but they did it out of loyalty or fear. Former enablers are apologizing to you, revealing the extent of the deception they endured. They acknowledge that they were intimidated, bought off, or forced to work against you. They are disclosing proof of scams in which they took part against their better judgment. Professional repercussions are also showing up. Co-workers are avoiding affiliation with an individual whose moral character has been questioned. Relationships in business are being re-examined. Their professional network is experiencing a decline in their reputation. As users unfriend, unfollow, and block each other on social media, relationships are breaking down. As their digital network shrinks, their online presence grows more isolated. Their posts are receiving fewer and less encouraging comments. They are becoming increasingly more desperate as a result of their seclusion, which sets off the next stage of their devastation. They are now desperately attempting to get back in touch with you after witnessing their entire world fall apart. They're employing every manipulation technique in their toolbox, including playing the victim, guilt trips, love bombing, saying they've changed, and fabricating emergencies that need your attention. The difference now is that you can see through each and every tactic they use. Their efforts come across as awkward and obvious. You've become spiritually immune to their psychological attacks, and everyone in their immediate vicinity is also becoming immune. They are using mutual friends to send messages, attending family gatherings without permission, and fabricating emergency scenarios in order to make touch. They become more and more panicked with each failed effort as they realize they no longer have their most dependable prey at their disposal. Their communications are getting more and more revealing and urgent. They are committing to things they have never committed to before. They are making compromises that they have never been prepared to make. They are acknowledging actions they had previously denied. In fact, their attempts at reunion show how desperate and manipulative they are. When they don't get their way, people are seeing personally how they behave. Now that the mask is coming off in public, Everyone can see the manipulative, dominating person hiding behind it. They are attempting to compel contact by using family milestones, holidays, and birthdays. They are fabricating medical situations that later prove to be inflated. They're disseminating false information about financial emergencies that need your help right now. The messages they are being asked to deliver are making the middlemen they are utilizing to get in touch with you uneasy. These intermediaries are growing less eager to engage as they become aware of the manipulation techniques. Even those who once fell for their manipulation are ashamed of them because of their increasingly pitiful attempts to reclaim control. They are becoming careless due of their desperation, and this carelessness is exposing them fully. Your most potent allies are the same people who formerly assisted them in working against you. They have first-hand expertise with manipulation techniques, documentation of lies, and intimate knowledge of schemes. Even you are unaware of the evidence they are presenting. Everything you've said about these erstwhile allies is supported by their evidence. They're exposing their lies, supporting your version of events, and demonstrating the strategic nature of their psychological warfare. Their testimony is so strong that even the most obstinate supporters are no longer able to defend themselves. The evidence being presented includes written records of their celebration rituals when you suffered, recorded conversations in which they planned attacks on your character, and text messages in which they boasted about manipulating you. One witness produced a taped conversation in which they described their plan for separating you from your relatives. Someone else shared screenshots of group chats in which they conspired to spread false information regarding your mental health. A third provided records of the financial tricks they employed to cause you to experience emergencies. In addition to providing proof of their actions towards you, the witnesses are disclosing patterns of manipulation they have employed against other people, including accounts of other relationships they have ruined, family members they have betrayed, and victims they have targeted using comparable strategies. If you want to witness God's miracles, act now. Contribute $100 or more through Super Thank You on YouTube. Your offering is like a seed that comes back to you when planted. Let His light illuminate your steps. Every donation is an echo in His plan. Some witnesses are providing you with intelligence that shields you from any last-ditch attempts they might make by disclosing details about ongoing schemes and future plans. Others are disclosing specifics about their private behavior, demonstrating how wholly false their public character is. Over the course of years or decades, the witness evidence is establishing an indisputable pattern. Anyone can no longer argue that these were isolated instances or misunderstandings. The evidence is indisputable and overwhelming. Those who were closest to them, those who saw their private moments, those who saw the true person beneath the mask, give the most damning testimony. These witnesses are disclosing information that would only be known by those in their immediate social circle. The heavenly justice system goes into overdrive at this point. All of the repercussions they have been avoiding for years are now appearing at the same time. The spiritual laws they broke by harming a person who was protected by God are now bringing about judgment that cannot be disregarded or justified. The cosmic concept that everything you send out multiplies is what they are experiencing. All of the suffering they inflicted on you is returning, only more intense. They're making all the loneliness they attempted to instill in you a reality. Everything they tried to destroy is showing up in their own lives. Anyone who is paying attention can see the acceleration. Financial difficulties, health problems, relationship breakdowns, and career losses are examples of consequences that used to take months to occur but now happen in a matter of days. Everything is occurring simultaneously and with an obviously supernatural level of intensity. Their obligation needs to be settled in full because the spiritual world has reached a tipping point. They no longer have the same level of protection from their position of power in your life. They are currently living their lives without any kind of divine protection or favor. Their deeds have broken their connection to the divine, which is why their attempts to deploy spiritual protection or intervention are failing. Their prayers seem pointless and go unanswered. They haven't genuinely apologized for their actions. Therefore, their attempts at spiritual purification are futile. They are looking for spiritual advisors who will give them the advice they want to hear and who will attribute their issues to outside factors rather than personal responsibility. They are searching for prophecies that promise healing without calling for responsibility. They started a spiritual war against you, but it has now entirely changed in your favor. They are now being used against you with every weapon they attempted to use. All of the curses they said about your life are now showing up in theirs. As their reckoning quickens, they are now repaying every celebration they had over your agony with their own suffering. Everyone who questioned your character is having their actual nature exposed. Everyone who blamed you is realizing the underlying cause of family trouble. And everyone who doubted you is being forced to acknowledge that you were correct. Your vindication becomes indisputable. As they undergo a total spiritual, social, and physical breakdown, you are becoming the strongest version of yourself. The talents they attempted to stifle are thriving in ways you could never have predicted. The voice they attempted to stifle is now serving as a lighthouse for those who have been subjected to such mistreatment. Your prosperity, tranquility, and happiness serve as continual reminders of how utterly unsuccessful their attempt to kill you was. Every success you gain, every blessing you get, and every happy moment you have is evidence that their attempts to ruin your life were a huge failure. You never imagined the possibilities that are suddenly becoming available to you. Doors that were shut due to their meddling are now slamming open. Apologies and support are coming from those who turned against you. Now you have unrestricted access to previously banned resources. Mike, the creator of the astral atom-powered obsidian inner order, has sent the following message. I will never abandon you. I will never allow you to experience this enlightenment by yourself. I will never browse over your pain as if it were mere content. This is a disguised lifeline, not simply a rickroll. Too many of us have been banished for perceiving the truth, cast out by family, deceived by cults, and plagued by gifts we didn't request, which is why I founded the Obsidian Inner Order. We now get together once a week, live on Zoom with real people and faces, a healer who broke free from ritual abuse, a former CFO who became a psychic, and a seer who left Mormonism. Indeed, the calls are recorded, allowing you to return to the field while on the floor. We're not a meme. We will never abandon you. We are a miracle. Click the link in the description to join the Obsidian Inner Order. You're using your spiritual gifts at a degree you've never had before. You have more acute intuition. You have better discernment. You're more accurate than ever at seeing through deceit. The conflict has strengthened the very skills they attempted to destroy. Not only are you surviving, but you're flourishing in ways that, when viewed in hindsight, make their attacks seem absurd. Their decline and your ascent are so different that it is indisputable evidence of divine justice at work. Others who have been subjected to similar manipulation are finding inspiration in your metamorphosis. People are getting in touch with you to tell their tales and express gratitude for giving them the confidence to stand up for themselves. An entire community of survivors is finding hope in your win. They are unable to share in your success, take credit for your accomplishments, or take advantage of the gifts that are coming your way, so they are observing all of this from the sidelines. They are bearing the full consequences of their decisions while they watch you succeed. Not only does their total destruction impact them, but it also ends a generation-long cycle of spiritual darkness that has plagued your family. The hatred, abuse, and manipulation they perpetuated from earlier generations ends here, with your triumph. The spiritual enslavement they attempted to maintain will no longer exist for future generations. Your offspring won't have to endure the same struggles. Their influence will cause the destructive patterns they upheld to disappear. You are ensuring the independence of your entire family, not just yourself. You're severing the bonds that kept your family in spiritual prison for decades, not just defeating their trickery. Your family is undergoing extensive and profound generational healing. You are receiving apologies and offers to re-establish relationships from relatives you haven't spoken to in years. Family get-togethers are getting more genuine and tranquil. Finally, the culture of manipulation and fear that ruined family relationships for generations is fading. Other family members who were also manipulated by them are speaking up and telling their own tales. The family is starting to recognize the real cause of the trauma and dysfunction that have impacted several generations. The spiritual DNA of your family has been altered by your win. The curse has been lifted. Light has taken the place of the heritage of darkness, and the pattern has been broken. This is your time to be completely validated. Everyone who had doubts about you now knows the truth. Everyone who placed the blame on you is aware of the true cause of the issues. You were the only one with clear vision, as everyone who doubted your sanity knows. Their downfall is only one aspect of your vindication. Another is your emergence as the divinely supported person you were always destined to be. Now that their meddling has been eliminated, opportunities are beginning to arise. It's about the amazing future that will emerge once their sinister influence is eradicated. You're thriving in ways they never wanted you to, despite surviving their deadliest attempts to destroy you. You put up with their deception, and now you have the clarity and tranquility that come from being totally free of their poison. The winner is the one who was selected. Even their most obstinate followers are forced to admit that divine justice has won because the victory is so complete, so total, and so indisputable. Their breakdown is your breakthrough. Their removal is your elevation. Your victory is the ultimate evidence that no weapon created against the anointed can ever be successful. Chosen one, welcome to your season of total vindication. The dream is just getting started, and the horror is ended.